Yo, how are we doing, everybody? So today I'm doing a guide on chapter 13, Born of Strife and Sadness. So in this chapter, the main thing that I am worried about here is the fact that we are being flanked on both sides. I'm going to be putting the boss character, Frederica's brother, to sleep immediately, which is going to be something I'm going to be trying to do a lot, essentially using both Anna and Jens, which Jens is a optional character, so you might not have him depending on your own choices. But essentially, I'm going to be trying to put Frederica's brother to sleep, as he just deals a lot of damage, and his spell also does pushback. So if you're trying to build certain formations, he can completely get in the way of that and just destroy what you're going for. So, and again, like, there's just a lot of damage coming out because we're being flanked on both sides. So I want to try to move everybody to the south side. I'm going to be focusing down one of the mages, killing them before they get to take their first turn, and then trying to take out the second mage as fast as I can. But before I can do that, I'll be having Iridor use Provoke, because the Provoke will at least focus that damage onto him. Because yeah, those mages, with their lightning spells, it deals so much damage. So I need to definitely split that damage up as much as I can. Because if I'm taking as much as like just 2 hits on one of my softer characters, they will just die. Yeah, even in the like level 22 range, fighting these level 22, 23 enemies, they are brutal. They just deal so much damage. So this is definitely a bit crazy as far as like where I have all my characters like situated. But again, just destroying that mage, getting Thalas to sleep, using Provoke to get Fury on a few enemies. This is all like it helps out so much, because it really splits out the damage that would be coming in from the enemies on the south side, just because my own teammates and other enemies are kind of in the way of each other, so they can only get so many hits on the same target, so I don't have to worry about anyone dying. The enemies on the north will be making their way down to me, but especially since like 3 of them are shield bearers, or no, well, yeah, 3 shield bearers, and then like the pikemen, like their speed value is really low, their movement is low, so it takes them a little bit, which gives me the time to defeat the enemies I want to defeat. Which again, particularly, I'm trying to focus down the mages first, because their damage is just like really obscene. And then as far as the sleep goes, the sleep on like Thalas generally lasts about 2 turns. After that second turn, he's going to wake back up. And like, this is RNG, it's not guaranteed I'll be able to put them to sleep. So for me, I kind of had to just reset and try again if I couldn't land the initial sleep. But after that, it just kind of depends. Like sometimes, depending on how many enemies are currently alive, like I can take a hit or 2 from Thalas. But yeah, it's definitely going to vary depending on like what your stats are and what difficulty mode you're playing on, so it might not be as big a deal for you if, like, say you're playing on normal, or if you're a higher level than me. So, you know, you don't necessarily have to reset, but for me, I definitely did. I did also enjoy trying to use Jin's traps. They can also slow down the enemies coming from the north a little bit longer. But we do have like the full 10 units here, so it's definitely not that's not like a required strategy. It's not something that you have to do. He is an optional character. You can kind of really do whatever. For me, I do think it's important to have like at least somewhat of a front line, so I'm going to be using like Serenoa, who's mandatory anyways, Roland and Eridor. I feel like those 3 characters right there are like more than enough for like a strong front line. I don't need like Benedict or any of the other like high defensive characters. As far as mages go, I do just really like having Frederica, having my ice mage, who I continuously forget his actual name. And then for my healers, I have, you know, just the regular healer like Frederica's assistant, And then I also have Medina here. Medina, she heals with items, like she can throw them much further than other characters can, and she heals for more. And on a higher level, she actually restores people's TP as she heals them, which is very, very good. It allows you to use your more powerful abilities more often. I think she's easily one of the better healers in the game. So I highly suggest using her if you have her unlocked. You might not, because again, it's completely situational depending on how you've been going through the game. But yeah, either way, I would just suggest having more than the one healer. And then I do have Hewitt. I think Hewitt is easily one of the highest utility characters in the game. And the fact that she has so much movement, that she can fly, while we're not really taking advantage of elevation in this particular chapter, we're definitely taking advantage of her mobility and the fact that she can land blinds on enemies to prevent them from doing damage, and then also the bind she can do, her shadow snitch or whatever that arrow is called. But yeah, with that one, she literally binds their movement so they cannot move from that square, which is also very, very useful. But yeah, that's basically the loadout I decided to go for. Again, you can do various things, but if you want to follow my example to have an easier time, feel free to do so. More of the enemies now from the north are starting to get towards me, but they're going to take a little bit longer, so I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this a bit. So yeah, you can see here, more of them are definitely getting here, and so I have Eridor, Serenoa, and Roland coming up to attack them. And it's a little bit difficult as far as my positioning goes, because what the enemy has been doing, their archers on this chapter, they have a oil ability. They literally, it's not an item they use, but it costs them 1 TP to use oil. And Frederica's sister also will be casting a spell that's oil as well. And when the oil's on the floor, basically the floor becomes flammable. So it's very, very easy to have your characters catch on fire, and then when you're walking through that fire, you take damage as well. And the archers also have a fire arrow, so they can set the fire after they plant the oil. For me personally, even though it is on hard mode, I was finding the damage to be so little that it really didn't impact my movement too much. There were a couple of times where I didn't want to end my turn necessarily in the fire, so I would move, but again, I really don't think the oil or fire is that big of a deal. I just think it's something to take note of. Because I think it would be bad if you put too much influence in the oil and was just running away before the fire's even being set. It's really not that big of a deal. The fire deals I think it's 13 or 20 damage or something like that. It's pretty low. So definitely don't throw your formations just to the side because of the fear of fire eventually being set. It is what it is. It's really not that big of a deal. But again, since that is a main mechanic of this chapter, I did want to point that out. Over here, again, Thalas, Frederica's brother, he woke up, and he just deals a lot of damage, so I'm going to be moving Anna over there to try to put him back to sleep. And I'm trying to use Eridor to use his provokes to get the shield bearers and the pikemen in control. Jin's as well, not only can he put the traps down to help push these enemies away, but he also has his constrict ability, which slows down when that enemy would take their next turn, and it's very, very effective on the shield bearers who are already so slow. So they basically have to take their turn 10 to 15 turns later. It's pretty huge. So Jin's, I think, is very, very good here. But yeah, they're going to be doing their stuff, so let's go ahead, skip forward a bit. So yeah, here essentially I thought it was interesting as I'm continuously using provoke, because Eridor, I'm literally not attacking people, I'm just provoking. as I've been doing that, the other enemies, once they've become cleared, when the Fury status ailment is no longer on them, they're actually retreating, which I guess like their HP was going down a little bit, but it did make things quite a bit easier for me. Like normally the AI is more like focused on trying to attack me, but there's something going on. Maybe it's the fire itself that might have been the issue, because like it's really hard for the enemies to surround the unit they want to attack, just in general. So with the extra fire tiles around, it looks like it was actually pushing them away from me, which gave me some like room to breathe and to heal my units. So the fire is not just a bad thing. The fire is actually my ally to a degree. So I thought that was pretty nice. And again, using provoke on healers is very, very nice, because like normally the healers, you know, they're going to get a strong heal out and then they're going to run away. And, you know, trying to chase them down through their allies is very dangerous, as you can easily get flanked and they're just going to hit you with a bunch of follow-up attacks. Very, very painful. But instead, if you provoke the healer, 1, they won't even heal anybody, and then 2, they will come to Eridor to try to attack him, which makes it much, much easier to then defeat the healers. But let's see again, let's just skip forward a bit. So I was definitely having some trouble because I'm not able to put Thalas to sleep every single turn that I can. For a second, I was about to move Serenoa to attack Thalas, but you have to be careful when you're positioning for the sleep, because if you do, if you have like Serenoa on one side and Anna on the other, when Anna takes her turn to put him to, you know, attempt to put him to sleep, if she gets that sleep, there will be a follow-up attack, and then Serenoa would attack Thalas and immediately wake him back up. So yeah, do be careful. You don't want to actually flank with someone that can do a follow-up attack when you're trying to inflict that sleep. So yeah, do be wary of that. Yeah, then right there, once again, I was like thinking, oh, let me attack with Milo, but no, I don't want to actually flank. So right here, I'm actually going to be using this Quistis or Quietus, however you say that, to just skip his turn. And that gives me just another chance to build up TP, so I can use that like Slumber Strike again and put him to sleep, because he just deals a lot of damage. His sister potentially can too, but she's just not as bad as Thalas is. Thalas is the character that I'm more focusing on trying to inflict with status ailments. So yeah, he just loses his turn there. Go ahead and skip forward again. So yeah, Thalas is nice and asleep. And I actually have quite a few characters asleep right now, because yeah, I have both the brother and the sister asleep. I have an archer asleep. I have, that's either a pikeman or a shield bearer, he's asleep. Because yeah, Jins also has that ability once you get him to higher level, where he can put enemies to sleep as well. While it's not guaranteed, on the non-boss characters, I think it's somewhere between like 60 to 80%. So it's actually pretty likely. And at this point, basically, there's so few enemies left alive that I'm not as worried about having like a tight formation. It's a lot easier to just heal everyone. And I can just kind of, you know, take people out and grab items. Because like in a lot of my chapters, I really don't pick up items immediately, because I'm more worried about dying. I don't want to die. So I'm trying to take as optimal as turns as possible. The items are just not that important. But yeah, I will start to pick those up in a little bit. Yeah, let's go ahead and skip forward again. A little bit forward past that. And a bit more past there. So yeah, right here, I think. Yeah, I'm just trying to finish down the two bosses. You know, good old Thalas and his sister, which because yeah, there's no enemies left, but they just have so much HP, which is really the problem here. So let's go ahead and skip forward just a little bit. So yeah, right here with Jins, he couldn't get the attack off, so I just go ahead and have him use that the delay on Erika, because I'm just trying to make sure she doesn't get those attacks off. And then Serenoa also has a delay that he can use as well, which is just really nice, because it's obviously these bosses just deal so much damage. So the more turns I can get in before those bosses can do anything is really, really nice. And yeah, right here, just gonna go ahead and deal the damage that I can to Thalas. Yeah, that wind hurts really bad. And he did technically kill Anna, but I have the resurrection ring on, so she just immediately comes back to life. That is a really, really good item. There's a lot of items that you can find in between the chapters during the story section, because that is not a ring that I've bought. Like, I've found that. So do make sure you're looking around. But yeah, that is going to be Erika going down there. Nice and easy. Because, again, she does have a lot of HP, so, like, it did take a while. But, I focused on taking down the other enemies first, because they have so much less HP, and therefore that's less damage going in. Like, it really depends on the chapter. Like, some chapters I can focus the boss first, just because of, like, the positioning, where enemies really can't focus in on me. But in a chapter like this, there's no real elevation to use to my advantage. There's no, like, terrain obstacles. So with that being the case, I thought it was just more effective to really focus down the standard enemies and then go for the bosses. But yeah, that is going to be my guide for chapter 13 here. I really, really like this chapter. I thought it was really fun, because I've been doing so many chapters before this one where there were so many different factors I had to think about. Whereas with this one, it was very straightforward. It was just like, hey, gotta defeat these enemies. There's a lot of them, and you're flanked on 2 sides. But yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments below, and peace.